The magic island is sinking into the ocean. It is sinking at the will of G-47 and the scientists, however, and no one inside the artificial island is in any danger. The strange isle of Euclidia is being submerged below the surface of the sea in order to permit a large fleet of battleships to hold maneuvers over it without suspecting the existence of the island. The Gregory yacht has been drawn into a submarine lock under the surface of the island, and Mrs. Gregory, Captain Bradford, and Jerry and Joan discussed the situation in the radio cabin of the yacht.
You said the Euclideans could destroy a battle fleet easily and quickly, Joan. Why don't they destroy this one?
I think there's a very good reason. You know what it is, do you not, Captain Tex?
It's got me, Joan. I may be a little stupid after my long swim, but I can't see it.
Well, the only reason I can think of is that this crazy bunch aren't quite ready to start destroying battleships or warships. But I don't see what they're waiting for.
Captain Bradford, you realize that those battleships are almost upon us. They will be over this position in an hour, if what you heard the guard say is true.
I know that, Joan, but how did those ships get so close?
Hey, I'm beginning to get it. They let those ships get within range on purpose, didn't they, Joan?
Of course, Jerry.
But why?
I got it, Captain. They must have seen those battleships coming for the last 200 miles or more. And the reason they didn't make any move to stop them was because they didn't want anybody to suspect this island. They wanted you to get out that pigeon. Then they figured to stop the pigeon and get the formula.
You are exactly right, Jerry. These Euclideans have great patience, and they will have many more chances to destroy battleships, while this was their last chance to get the captain's formula.
But they've missed their chance anyhow. The pigeon got away, and the ships are too near for them to go after the pigeon.
Yes, Mother, and G-47 will not attack those ships without the captain's formula, for he is not sure the formula has not found its way to friendly hands already. And in that event, Euclidia would live a very short life.
Boy, that's almighty keen for us, isn't it, Tex?
It sure is, son. That little pigeon is well on his way to Johnson's boat now. And if this battle fleet stays around these waters for a few hours, long enough for the pigeon to reach Johnson's boat, and for Johnson to start running back to Los Angeles, we're as good as off this island now.
Out of it, you mean? We're inside the blamed thing now.
We are quite safe in here. There is nothing to worry about.
But inside this lock, we must be 10 feet below the surface of the water now. How about the air?
The air is kept fresh from oxygen tanks in the base of the island. There is enough compressed oxygen there to feed every chamber on the island a normal flow of pure air if we were submerged for a month. And even after that, for they have machinery for getting the oxygen out of the water around us.
Golly whiskers.
Well, Tex, it seems that we're comparatively safe at least. Though it's a strange feeling to be on board a yacht that's floating below the surface of the ocean.
Yes, we're all right until G-47 decides to do something to us. And when he decides that the pigeon is safely on its way, I think he'll begin to do things.
Tell us what happened to you, Captain. When the lock gates to the ocean were closed, we thought you had been caught outside the lock.
It was terrible, Tex, to feel the yacht being submerged and thinking of you out there, helpless when the island went under also.
Well, I was inside the lock before they closed the gate, but I floated out near the end of the pier for a while to hear what the guards were talking about. That's how I got the information on the battle fleet coming.
But how did you come aboard here? That's what I can't see.
Well, when you were all looking forward, at the lock gates opening into the island, I sneaked along the deck and in here. I was afraid to attract your attention for fear you'd give me away.
Then, when the mast was knocked over on the cabin roofs, you put out the light so we could enter the cabin without exposing you. That was very clever, Captain.
It was wonderful, Tex. And now we're all together again.
Yeah, we're all together again. But I got a sneaking notion our troubles are getting ready to get together, too.
What's up, kid?
Well, for one thing, the radio's smashed.
How much damage was done?
You mean when the mast fell and broke your antenna cables?
Yes, Joan. That wouldn't hurt the set here any. But without an aerial and shielded by this metal lock, I'm afraid we haven't much of a radio left.
G-47 and his transmission engineers do not use aerials. Yet their apparatus will send and receive messages much farther than your equipment.
Sure. They build their sets to work without aerials, and they've got electricity to burn. We've only got portable stuff.
Well, turn it on, Jerry. Open it wide now and leave it hot. We might pick up something to listen to.
Okay, I'll warm it up. But I looked at the winding, and this set wasn't made to do much without an aerial.
What does that mean, Joan, dear? That was the alarm gong, wasn't it?
Yes, Mother. That means to stand by all stations. I think they will submerge the island now.
Will it affect us any in this lock?
I think not. At least not until the oxygen supply is turned on. Then the air will feel sharp when you inhale it. That will be the only thing noticeable, I'm sure.
How deep will we go, dear?
I think to the bottom, if we are to clear heavy ships.
And how far down is the bottom?
The island can be submerged to more than half its own depth. The airlock in the ocean floor is 60 feet deep, and the island is only 100 feet in height. So if we submerge completely, the surface of the island will be 50 to 60 feet below the waterline.
That sounds mighty big to us, Joan. I'd like to see it done.
Would they allow that, do you think, dear?
I have seen it many times. Most of the locks have one transparent wall, so that you may look out into the water and study the natural life on the ocean floor.
I got the set hot text, but nothing doing. I've tried every wavelength. Got it on Johnson now, but I can't even raise a signal from any of those boats around us here.
Well, we better go to work on that set, kid. Our only hope is to have some way of hearing from Johnson when the pigeon gets to his boat.
That is the signal to submerge. Now the island will sink slowly into the sea, and in a few moments we will be many feet below the surface of the ocean.
That signal has a heavy, resonant, vibrating quality. Mightn't it be heard from many miles around?
I wondered about that, too, Pat. Those battleships have plenty of underwater ears. They can hear a sub a long way off.
No, Captain. The Euclideans have controlled that in some way. The sound stops at the magnetic ring and does not rise above the surface of the island.
Old G-47 sure thinks of everything, and then some.
I wish we could see what's going on. It would be wonderful to look up through the water and see a fleet maneuver from below.
What's that for, Joan?
The island has sunk to the first level, 10 feet below the water. That would mean that the little steel control chambers you saw on top of the island are just going underwater now.
They didn't get under any too soon either. Those ships must be within 20 miles of here by now.
Come in. Oh, you. I might have known it.
Gee whiz, now the cat's out of the bag.
Tex, you shouldn't have said come in so carelessly.
You need not reproach the captain. I have known for some time he was aboard.
I should have thought of that. Of course you knew it when you could not find him swimming near the island.
Precisely.
What do you want here?
Nothing here. You will come with me, Captain Bradford. You also, Cleostra. Follow me immediately.
Are you going to show them something?
No. I am going to put them where they can see nothing.
Was that the second level? Are we now 20 feet below the sea?
Precisely. Captain, Cleostra, come quickly.
And what if we don't care to come?
Captain, do you not see that ray gun in his hand? We will do as you wish, G-47.
Joan's right, Tex. Jerry and I'll be all right here. Go with him and do as he says.
That's the spirit, Mrs. Gregory. They can't scare us.
You make up in stupidity what you lack in fear. Go. I will follow you.
Keep your chin up, Pat. Take care of her, Jerry. Mm-hmm. Come on, Joan.
Yes, Captain. We will go.
I might remind you, Mrs. Gregory, that I expect you and this young fool to remain quietly on the yacht. Your friends will return when I have finished with them.
Jerry, what's he going to do with Tex and Joan?
Now, don't worry, Mrs. Gregory. He's not going to do anything to them. Only put them where they can't see what's going on.
But why them and not us?
Well, he figures you and I ain't any too heavy on brains, I guess.
Why, Jerry.
Well, I mean, he's afraid Joan will get a chance to do something because she knows all about this island. And he knows Tex is liable to see some way to get an alarm to those boats. I guess he thinks you and I just sit in here and cry.
The third level. This is quite an experience, Jerry.
Plenty for me. But what I'm most worried about is that this radio won't work. And I got a notion there's nothing wrong with the set. It's all in the aerial. And this steel lock isn't helping me any.
What was that?
The anchor chain ran out and dropped the stern hook on the steel floor of this lock.
Of course. The skipper must have released it in trying to... clear away the broken mast.
Well, it won't hurt anything.
J12C calling J24Y.
It's Johnson.
The set's working again. Listen.
Nothing more, Jerry.
Well, never mind. We'll keep the set open. Maybe he'll come in again.
Now we're down to the 4th level, Jerry. There should be only one more of those alarms.
Yeah. I wonder where G47 took Joan and Captain Bradford.
J12C calling J24Y. J12C standing by. We'll stay here indefinitely. Standing by. J12C will repeat every quarter hour. J12C to J24Y. That is all.
Oh, Jerry, he's standing by. Johnson's arrived at the position north of us.
Then he's within range of the pigeon Tex sent off. That's swell. All we got to do now is hang on and wait. Oh, how about it?
Can't do any harm, Jerry.
Come in.
Oh, come on in, Skipper, and close the door.
Aye.
What's on your mind, Skipper?
Anchor.
Yes, Skipper, we heard it drop. Did it do any damage?
Radio.
What about the radio?
Aerial.
Was the aerial tangled in the anchor chain?
Aye.
Gosh, then thanks for letting the anchor run out and hitting the bottom.
Why?
Because we didn't have any aerial at all till that happened.
Don't you see, Skipper? The anchor's the aerial now. It's touching the bottom of this steel lock, and the aerial's mixed up with it. Leave that anchor on the bottom, Skipper, and the aerial wire mixed up with the chain. We've got this whole island for an aerial now.
The Magic Island is underwater. 50 feet below the surface of the South Pacific Ocean lies the strange hidden Isle of Euclidia. The battle fleet of one of the great nations is holding maneuvers in this section, and the Euclidean scientists have submerged their island rather than run the risk of detection. The Gregory yacht has been drawn into a submarine lock with all on board, but now only Mrs. Gregory and Jerry remain with the crew, as Captain Tex Bradford and Joan have been taken to another part of the island by G47. Jerry and Mrs. Gregory are talking excitedly about a radio message just received from Johnson's boat. The skipper is with them.
That's fine, Jerry. Then as long as the broken aerial is tied to the anchor chain, you will be able to use the radio.
I think so, Mrs. Gregory. You see, the anchor lies on the bottom of this steel lock, and with the aerial mixed up with the anchor chain, we've really got the whole island as an aerial.
Was that all you had to tell us, Skipper?
Aye.
Did you see where G47 took Joan and the captain?
Nope.
Just let the anchor stay down, won't you, Skipper? And take another turn or two of aerial wire around that anchor chain to be sure it won't slip off. Will you please, sir?
Aye.
That's all, Skipper. Thanks a lot.
Aye.
The skipper don't waste a whole lot of time talking, but he knows what he's doing all the time.
J12C to J24Y. Regular quarter hour report. If you are getting me, try relay to land station. No signal from you for 24 hours.
Poor Johnson, he doesn't know we're getting him.
Large fleet holding maneuvers near last position you gave me. You should be able to contact fleet if in same vicinity, making no attempt to move to your aid as per instructions. J12C, standing by. J12C.
Gee, I'd like to try sending a message to him.
I'm afraid it wouldn't be safe, Jerry. These men would be sure to intercept it on the island.
I don't know, Mrs. Gregory. We've got plenty of aerial now, and Johnson's only about 300 miles from here. It might work. But if their radios are grounded on the same framework, no use. They'd pick it up, sure.
The thing I'm afraid of, Jerry, is that Johnson may send one of the pigeons from his boat. And with our yacht in this lock, the poor bird would be hopelessly lost.
Yeah, Tex was worried about that, too. But I don't know how to send a message to him that G47 can't figure out.
I know the code, Jerry, but it's too dangerous, and I think Tex would just want us to wait a few hours and see if our pigeon gets to Johnson's boat all right. Then we can take action.
Okay, Mrs. Gregory. I guess you're right. But it's a funny feeling to have a radio and not to be able to use it.
Jerry, did you feel that?
Yeah. Kind of like a little earthquake.
It was sharper than that. There wasn't any sound, yet I distinctly felt the boat shudder just a little.
Sure. That fleet's right over us. They must be starting target practice.
There it is again. And again. And again. Yes, Jerry, that's target practice.
Boy, I hope they don't use any torpedoes.
Or wouldn't the magnetic field around the island deflect the torpedoes away from us?
Yeah, if they're using the magnetic field, but I don't think they are.
Why not?
Because that would call attention to the island. And I think what old G-47 wants most of all right now is to keep his island a secret.
That's right, Jerry. And there may be a chance of a stray torpedo coming this way, though I think we're too deep for a direct hit.
I'm getting kind of nervous about Joan and the captain. I wish we knew what they were doing.
So do I, but I think no harm will come to them.
I'm not so sure about that. Let's go and look for them.
Tex told us to stay here. He wouldn't want us to move around and leave the radio.
Yeah, I suppose so. But there's no danger of Johnson calling again right away. He said he'd call every quarter hour.
I'll stay here, Jerry, if you want to go look for them. I'll be quite all right here.
No, ma'am. We go together or not at all. Tex left me to take care of you, and I'm going to do it. I got it. We can leave the skipper in here with the radio. Then we could go and know that someone was here to take any message that came in.
We'll do that, Jerry. Go and bring the skipper, will you?
Okay.
J12C to J24Y. J12C calling J24Y. Message just received. You must be in danger. Your position has given me impossible. No island at such position. Just received message from battleship. Engaged in long-range fire on that position. Reports no island. Ship has been getting me clear. Why no message from you? J12C to J24Y. We'll ask fleet to look for you. Standing by, Johnson.
That's a funny one, isn't it?
What's funny about it, Jerry? Johnson has been talking with one of those ships overhead, trying to check on our position. And they've naturally reported to him that there is no island here. There isn't, as far as the fleet navigators know.
But that's what's funny about it. How did Johnson get that message without me getting it here?
Why, Jerry, you're right. Our radio should have picked up the ship's message. And if we can hear Johnson 300 miles away, why couldn't we hear the ship standing within a few miles of us, possibly right over our head?
For a mighty good reason. The ship didn't send any message.
You mean?
I mean it's a gag, a bluff. Johnson's trying to put over a message to us, telling us that he's near enough to know all about the fleet being right on our position and...
to J24Y. Johnson to Bradford on J24Y. Flash from fleet in maneuvers. Small cruiser or yacht reported burning at sea near your last position. I am going to disregard your orders and sail at once. The bosun threatened to go without me. Says it's an easy course, and he can navigate it alone. So I have decided to go. If your radio is dead on the transmission side, but you can receive this, use manual signals to one of the fleet. I will contact them and pick you up. Sailing at once. Expect average 40 knots. J12C to J24Y. Will call from harbor at Pedro. Johnson.
No, it's getting more mixed up.
It's all right, Jerry. That was in code. And Johnson used a long story to cover up the 10 or 12 words of value he put carelessly in the middle of it.
Well, tell me about it then. I guess I missed it.
I hope G47 did, as it's certain they'd be listening to the message.
Well, what's it all about?
Johnson said the bosun was going to take the boat out without orders if he wouldn't sail. The bosun, Jerry.
Gee, the bosun. The homing pigeon. Boy, is that slick. And I missed it.
I wonder if we should try to find Tex or get word to him.
I'm not so sure about that. We might get all excited and give the thing away. And if G47 knows we were getting any message of value over that radio, he'd soon rip it out of here.
On the other hand, Jerry, it's only by allowing us to keep the radio and intercepting our messages that G47 has any chance to learn of our plans. No, I think we'll be allowed to keep the radio.
Well, we could send the skipper after Tex and Joan.
Yes, but I'm not sure, Jerry. Let's think on it a few minutes.
How about my trying to send a message to Johnson? Maybe we could word it so G47 wouldn't make anything out of it.
Well, it might be all right, Jerry, and it would help a lot if Johnson could know that the bosun was on his way to him. But it's too dangerous, I think. We'll just have to wait for Tex and see what he says.
Hello, folks.
Tex, where's Joan?
She's in submarine lock 6, right next to this one. And there's going to be something doing mighty quick.
What's going on, sir?
That last message of Johnson's. I was in the communication chamber getting a lesson on how hopeless our situation is here when that message came into you.
Yes, Tex, and did you understand it? Did you get what Johnson meant about the bosun?
Sure, I got it, but the trouble is that G47 got it too.
What?
Golly, that's bad. You mean G47 knows we sent that pigeon to Johnson? And that Johnson's close enough to receive it right now?
Worse than that, son. They've got directional graphs and range finders in that control room that make anything we've got look childish. And 30 seconds after Johnson's message came, they located him in their directional finders. And they know his position to the fraction of a second.
But, Tex, I know that's bad, and it will hurry Johnson into running away the moment he gets the message off the bosun. But after all, G47 can't do anything about it. He doesn't dare make a move with his battle fleet playing around right over our heads.
That's what I thought, too, but I didn't realize how desperate these scientists are or how much that formula means to them.
But, gee, Captain Bradford, they're not going to try to stop that pigeon with all the battleships around here, are they?
No, not the pigeon, for they're smart enough to realize they can't afford to fight with this fleet just at this time.
But Joan said they could destroy battleships quickly and easily with their ray guns.
So they can, but it would bring the rest of the world down on them, and they're not just ready for that. They've got to have my formula first, and then they will be able to attack the entire world or defend themselves against it.
Gosh, what's it all about, Captain? They just simply can't do anything to that pigeon without the battle fleet seeing them do it. Joan said their large ray guns weren't accurate enough to pick that pigeon out of the air over 50 miles away. And he ought to be nearing that now.
Of course, Tex. You're just worried by seeing their wonderful equipment. Jerry's right. They couldn't hit the pigeon with a ray. And, Tex, more than that, we're submerged. They can't even use the air rays. And a submarine ray wouldn't hurt the pigeon any.
No, a submarine ray wouldn't hurt the pigeon any. But a submarine would hurt Johnson.
Golly whiskers, Captain.
Tex, not with this battle fleet right around here. Why, they wouldn't dare.
Maybe not, but they're going to just the same.
You mean they're going to send a submarine out after Johnson's boat with all these surface ships and maybe a sub or two of their own out there?
Just that, son. And I want you to go along with them.
Huh? Me? Me go in the submarine?
Why, Tex, you don't know what you're suggesting.
It's not a suggestion. It's an order. You want to sign on this yacht as a member of the crew, didn't you, Jerry?
I did, sir.
All right. Report to Submarine Lock 6 immediately for observation duty on the Euclidean submarine.
Aye, aye, sir.
But, Tex, if anything should happen...
That'll do, Pat. Jerry's going with that sub. You'll follow the ramp back into this lock. Turn left at the end of the lock. You'll find a guard there to take you to the sub. Come on, snap it up. You're holding them up now. Shove off.
Aye, aye, sir. Any special orders?
Keep your eyes open and your mouth shut. Use your own judgment. That's all.
Tex Bradford, do you realize what you've done? You sent that boy out there into certain danger. I could almost hate you for that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pat. But I'm in command of this expedition, and it's the only thing to do. I wanted to go along, but G47 was too smart for that. He figured I might be able to warn Johnson some way when we got near him, or beat them to the note I sent with the pigeon and destroy it.
But Jerry will have to stand by and watch them sink our other boat with Johnson and the crew on board.
No danger of that. They want the equipment on board too badly. All Jerry will have to do is to keep his eyes open and warn Johnson not to resist. He'll do that. The kid thinks fast, and they were afraid to let me go.
Oh, I understand. I'm sorry I was so... Tex, where's Joan?
Joan? Why? Oh, she'll be all right. Jerry will take care of her.
Jerry? Then Joan... Tex, Joan is going on that submarine?
Yes, dear. G47's orders. He knows we won't dare to make a move to contact this battle fleet or harm the sub in any way with Joan and Jerry aboard.
Joan. And Jerry.
Steady, dear.
I'm not going to pieces, Tex. I was just thinking how safe the future of the world is in the hands of young people like that.
Down in a submarine lock, 50 feet below the surface of the Magic Island, Jerry and Joan are waiting for their orders to go aboard the Euclidean submarine, which will go out to capture Johnson on Mrs. Gregory's other boat. G47, powerful leader of the group of scientists on the island, has demanded that Jerry and Joan go with the submarine as a guarantee that Captain Bradford will not attempt anything to interfere with the safety of the underwater vessel. Jerry and Joan are standing near the entrance to the submarine lock.
Now, you must be patient, Jerry.
Gee whiz, patient? Do you know we've been standing here for a half an hour?
Isn't that better, Jerry?
Better than what?
Better than having spent the half hour in the submarine and being a half hour nearer to capturing your friend Johnson's boat.
Yeah, Joan, you're right. Oh, you're always right. And it gets my goat to have a girl be always right.
I will try to be wrong, Jerry. if it will make you feel any better. But it will be very hard for me to be wrong about anything.
Oh, is that so? You sure hate yourself, don't you?
No, Jerry, I do not hate myself. Why should I?
Well, forget it. Just act like I didn't start it. Now then, we've been standing here a half hour and nothing happened. Can't we even look into the lock and see what it's all about?
No, Jerry. We must just stand here and wait. We will be told when we may enter.
Oh, golly whiskers, Joan. This thing's getting on my nerves. And I'll bet your mother and Captain Bradford are plenty nervous down there in the yacht, too, worrying about us.
You should say up there in the yacht. The yacht is on a higher level than this lock. We're on the floor of the 5th level, 50 feet from the surface of the island.
Gee, and the top of the island is 40 or 50 feet below the water level. We're pretty near 100 feet below the water. And that's something else I don't like.
What is that, Jerry?
Oh, I'm afraid that when we get in that submarine, it'll shoot right up to the surface. And one of those battleships practicing up there will think we're the target and let us have a few rounds.
Oh, no danger of that. These Euclidean submarines can travel safely and swiftly at a depth of over 200 feet.
Well, it beats me. I don't see how they do it.
I think you will see many things, Jerry. The commander is coming.
Where? I don't see anybody.
The door into the lock is opening slowly. That means the commander is coming down the companionway to the lock and has released the lock mechanism.
Who is this commander we're going to take this crazy trip with?
I will not know that until I see her.
Until you see her?
That is what I said.
Her? You mean a woman is going to command this submarine?
Of course. All the submarines are commanded by women, as nearly all the other mechanism on the island is.
What for? Are they short of men on this place?
No, but G47 says the cleverness of the men is needed to design and build these instruments of destruction. A woman is only fit to run them.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
The door is nearly open now, so the commander should be here any moment. Yes. Look, Jerry, here comes the crew.
That first guy is big enough to use a submarine for a rowboat. But where's the rest of the crew?
The rest? I do not understand, Jerry. He is the crew.
That guy? One man? Is the crew of a submarine?
Precisely.
Don't say that. Precisely. Sounds like old G47.
Step aside and let him pass, Jerry. Do not speak to him.
Okay. I don't like his looks anyhow.
I have orders from G47 to take you on this voyage, Cleostra. You will enter immediately following the commander and take your orders from her.
I understand, SE-1.
Is this vacant-faced stripling of the world to accompany us?
Is that me?
Yes, Jerry. G47 instructed me to keep this man near me at all times. He will serve you when the objective is reached.
G47 orders will be carried out. But how this open-mouthed object could serve anyone is not clear to me. Stand by for the commander.
Yes, sir.
Now, look here, Joan. I've had all I'm going to stand of this. One-man submarine crews floating up to me without a sound and making cracks about me. I'm going to tell
you will do nothing. Remember Captain Bradford's orders.
Yeah, I know. And it's only that noiseless paint on everything that makes them seem to be sneaking around the air. But if you forget for a minute, you get the jitters.
Stand aside. Make way for the commander.
Huh? The commander? That beautiful girl?
Yes. Now quiet.
So we are to have the charming Cleostra with us. SE-1 will enjoy that. He will probably find some excuse for making your journey anything but pleasant.
I am ready, Commander.
So I observed. And I have also G47's instructions regarding this ballast.
You mean me?
As you are the only object in this chamber possessing visibility, but no other apparent useful quality, it should be natural that I referred to you.
Say, now you look here.
Jerry, say no more. I am sorry, Commander, but this gentleman is not accustomed to our ways. He knows nothing of our activities.
Obviously, he knows nothing about anything. G47 prepared me for the meeting with him by saying his intelligence was 0. But it appears now that even the science of mathematics must be overthrown. It is possible to subtract from 0.
Say, I'm going to...
Silence, fool. You will speak when spoken to. Cleostra?
Yes, Commander.
You will bring this into the lock. Observation is permitted. Questions are not. I will summon you when ready. G47 is coming to give you a final instruction.
Jerry, be calm and keep quiet. You will spoil everything if you are not careful. And remember that we have the only chance there is left to protect Johnson and possibly save Captain Bradford's formula.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But she got my goat. You know, she's the most beautiful woman I ever saw in my life. Ah, but she's just a blame machine. A hard, cruel machine. like everything and everybody else here on Euclidia.
Oh, Jerry.
Oh, now cut it out, Joan. I didn't mean you. You're not like the rest of them here.
But you said she was the most beautiful woman you had ever seen.
Oh, Jiminy Crickets. I didn't mean that, Joan. You're the most beautiful girl I ever saw.
Am I, Jerry?
Sure you are. The commander ain't so much for looks, I guess. It's just that I got a surprise seeing a young woman handling a job like this.
You will see women doing many things on Euclidia, Jerry.
Oh, I believe you. Well, when do we start this deep-sea cruise with a woman skipper and a one-man crew?
The commander said G-47 was coming with final instructions for us. We may go into the lock and wait for him. There you can observe the mechanism which holds the nose of the submarine into the island.
Oh, let's have a look. This isn't a very big door, but I guess... Hey! We can hear our feet again!
Yes, this is one of the compartments on the island that is kept noisy for a reason, Jerry. Every sound made in this lock registers in the control chambers, and the scientists know what is happening here at all times.
Well, I've got no secrets anymore. Boy, this island has sure taught me one thing.
What is that, Jerry?
Better say something good about everybody, because every time you don't, the guy is standing right behind you.
Now, Jerry, you can see the submarine.
Where? Hey, is that wall glass?
No, transparent steel. They use some glass in the fusion with the steel, and the resulting hardness is greater than that of steel, with the visibility of a poor grade of glass.
All right, I'm sold. It's steel. But you can sure see through it plain. Gee, look at all the fish out there. What a place to study fish from.
We may come here and do that some other time if you wish, but you are not looking at the interesting part of the lock.
It's all interesting to me, but what do you mean?
The nose of the submarine is screwed into that wall.
Hey, what are you talking about? You mean there's a union or a joint of some kind on the wall that screws onto the nose of the sub?
Not at all. The submarine is rammed into that hole. Then it is revolved.
The sub is revolved?
Precisely.
What did I tell you about that precisely?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jerry.
Okay, let it go this time. Now to get back to this boat thing. You mean that the whole boat, a 100-foot submarine, is revolved until the nose is screwed tight into that hole?
Exactly, Jerry. Then the water is pumped out of this room and the hatch in the nose opened.
Well, of all the wild things I ever heard of. Then when we get into that thing now, they'll shut the nose up, fill this room to equalize the pressure with the water outside, and then roll the boat over and over till they get it loose from here?
Yes, of course. Jerry. Why, what is the matter, Jerry? You do not look well.
Oh, I'm all right, I guess. But it makes me feel kind of funny to think about us being in that boat when they wind it up out of there. There must be 20 or 30 threads around that hole. Are they going to turn that boat over and over 20 times with me inside of it?
24 times, Jerry.
Oh.
But you will not turn over with the boat.
You mean I won't know it when I do? Well, maybe you're right.
No, Jerry. Just the shell of the boat turns. The inside assembly, the turbines, the compressors, everything stays on an even keel while the boat revolves around it.
Well, I hope it comes out all right, but I feel kind of green.
You look a peculiar color, too.
No, I thought so.
Are you ready?
No. Oh, no.
We are ready, sir.
Your instructions are brief. You will make every effort to get this man Johnson to submit peacefully to bringing his boat to the island. If you fail, the commander will know what to do.
But how are we going to do this, G-47?
You will decide that for yourselves. As for you, Cleostra, if you allow this young fool to make a mistake, you will be left with the wreckage of Johnson's boat 300 miles from here.
I understand.
On your way. Do not keep the commander waiting.
Go on, Jerry. Crawl into that hole in the nose of the boat.
Just go into it head first?
Yes, hurry.
Okay, here goes. Okay, come on in, Joan. Are you all right?
Of course, Jerry. Oh, Jerry, take your hand away from there, quick.
Oh, gee. That thing nearly caught my hand. Look at old G-47 grinning back there.
Now he is closing the door of the lock. See? And it will begin to fill with water. You and I will just sit here and be quiet.
There comes the water into the lock. Look, Joan, we can see right out into the water, just as if this boat was made of glass.
Yes, but no one can look in from the outside.
Boy, this is some long submarine. The commander looks about a half a mile from here.
She is 40 feet from us. Now, Jerry, she's reaching for the lever. We will start to revolve and clear the lock.
You mean we're going to go round and round now?
Yes, Jerry. See, the wall is beginning to move past us.
Oh.
Jerry, what is the matter? We are not turning over.
No, but the ocean is, and that's worse. Oh.
Over 90 feet below the surface of the ocean, Jerry and Joan are shoving off the magic island in a Euclidean submarine. This immense cigar-shaped boat, 100 feet long, capable of a speed of 40 miles an hour underwater, has a crew of only one man and is commanded by a beautiful Euclidean woman. All this is almost too much for Jerry, and when the boat is spun rapidly, over and over to clear it from the lock in the island wall, Jerry has a feeling that perhaps he wasn't cut out for a sailor's life after all. The submarine is just pulling away from the island.
Are you all right now, Jerry?
Oh, I don't think I'll ever be. Oh, Joan, when I saw the sides of this boat going past me like a moving picture, oh, boy.
Have you ever been in a submarine before?
No, and never again. It's not so bad now, though. But what's making us go through the water? Why doesn't that she-skipper up there turn on the engines?
The engines, as you call them, are on. The motive power is active now, although very little of it is being used.
I don't hear anything or see anything running. Can't even hear the water going past the outside. But I can see it all right.
The motive power is a gas, a very powerful explosive gas generated in those tanks and blown out through exhaust pipes.
But they couldn't carry much gas in those tanks. How far can this boat cruise on the gas they've got aboard now?
I do not know how many cubes of the solidified gas the commander is carrying, but I have known one of these boats to run from Euclidia to York, California, and return.
What? 8,000 miles without refueling?
Yes, Jerry. Is that so much more than your boats will do?
I wouldn't even tell you what's the best our boats will do after that. 8,000 miles on the water. At what speed?
I think the regular cruising speed does not exceed 30 knots per hour.
Oh, that's too bad. The regular cruising speed of a boat in 15 fathoms of water is only 30 miles an hour. What holds it back?
Is that not good, Jerry?
Look, Joan, I wouldn't kid you. It's so good that nobody in our world even dreams about such things. We put them in nice, big, strong houses and take care of them if they talk like that. Hey, look at the shadow coming down through the water. Is that a whale?
Of course not. That is the shadow of one of the battleships overhead. Had you forgotten we are under a fleet of ships maneuvering?
Oh, yeah. Well, I forgot a lot of things when I got into this boat. Gee, right over our heads is a fleet of battleships, maybe from the United States, though any other country would do just as well. And here we are. No way in the world to get word to them. And this woman commander is taking us out to capture your mother's other boat.
Yes, Jerry. And you must be very careful what you say and do. The commander is a very hard woman. And SE-1, the submarine engineer, is nothing but a human machine. You will find no sympathy or kindness if you cross either of them.
Your mother felt pretty bad when Captain Bradford ordered me to go on the submarine. But, well, I guess Tex knew what he was doing.
Captain Bradford has great faith in you, Jerry. And he knows you will find a way to warn Johnson of our coming. If there is a way.
But there isn't. And I can tell you, from the looks of this thing here, there isn't going to be. And even if I could warn Johnson, what could I tell him?
If he could only get away from here, his boat will travel faster on the surface than this one under it.
Yeah. But if I scare him away, even if I could, it might be the worst thing in the world to do.
I do not see why, Jerry.
Because it'll take that pigeon 3 or 4 hours more to get to his boat. And if the pigeon is lost, we can't do a thing. Our only chance is to find Johnson and have him stay as close as he is and hope the pigeon gets to him before we do.
The pigeon had over an hour's start ahead of us, Jerry.
Yeah, and that pigeon can fly as fast as this boat will go. But when Johnson won't have time to do anything before the boat catches him.
It all seems very hopeless, Jerry. But something may give us a chance to aid Mr. Johnson.
I'm getting tired of G47 and all his men never making a mistake. I bet if we could use our heads a little, we could figure some way to outsmart that girl up there in the control seat.
It would not be wise to try it.
Gee, she heard me.
Of course, Jerry. These submarines are covered by a system of microphones and amplifiers. When will you learn that there is no privacy among the Euclideans?
Well, can we come up and talk to you, Commander?
You may speak to me from there if you have anything to say.
I got plenty to say.
Proceed.
Well, forget it.
It would be as well for you to forget it.
Please, Jerry, do not try to say anything more.
J12C to J24Y.
Johnson.
Yes, Jerry.
J12C
On the radio in
to
this cell.
J24Y. Hello, J24. Hello. Must have report from you, J24Y. We'll stop sending and change course if no answer to this call. J12C to J24Y.
What can I do now, Joan?
You will come up here to the control section at once.
Do as she asks, Jerry. I will stay here.
But, Joan.
I know best, Jerry. I would have been asked to come up if I had been wanted.
Hurry, you fool.
I'm coming. Sit tight, Joan, and don't worry.
Be careful, Jerry. Do exactly as the commander tells you. Be very careful, Jerry.
You will sit here and do as I tell you. Sit down there.
Now what?
My microphone is before you, and you will send this message to J12C. I have been waiting for his call to get his wavelength. You will send the following message.
Send it to whom?
You know perfectly well. This is the message. You will call J12C exactly as you would from the Gregory yacht. You will call him in a natural manner. Tell him you are all safely on the island, but the yacht is wrecked. You cannot leave, and he must come to you. Answer any questions he asks, but answer them carefully. Make it plain that he must hurry to the island.
And then what happens to Johnson when he gets to the island?
Do not act stupid. You know as well as I that Johnson has the material aboard for compounding Captain Bradford's formula, and that a pigeon left your yacht with instructions to Johnson as to how to use the formula to attack Euclidia. The pigeon may arrive at the boat, but Johnson will never use that formula. Now, send the message.
Yeah? And what if I don't?
You have seen these ray guns before, I think?
Jerry, do as you are ordered. You can gain nothing by refusing.
This is the funniest place. People talk to you from all over the boat.
You may gape at the wonder of this boat later. Now send the message, and remember, one mistake and I will use this ray gun. Then I will proceed to Johnson's boat and sink it with all on board.
All right. Oh, I'm ready. Tell me when to go.
At this depth and distance, I will need the generators. When I start them, watch the filament in that tube. When it glows, speak. And remember to say nothing to arouse suspicion. Now silence until you see that tube glow.
Now, you just take it easy, Pat. There's nothing we can do to help those kids out there in the submarine. And no way to get word to Johnson.
Oh, but Tex, just to sit here in this useless radio cabin.
Hold it, Pat. Listen.
Is that coming out of the radio, Tex?
Yeah, it's funny, too. It's on Johnson's private wavelength. He hasn't got any power on board that you could hear building up like that.
Perhaps something's happened to his boat.
I don't know. Since that last message of his saying he would change his course, I don't know what to expect.
To J12C. J24Y calling J12C. Hello, J12. Hello, J12.
Tex, it's Jerry calling Johnson.
Yes, and I don't like it. Jerry's in that submarine. I'll bet they're making him call Johnson.
J12C. Hello, J12. Jerry Hall on J24Y calling J12C.
Johnson doesn't answer.
He may be out of the cabin for a minute. Remember, he's been trying to get us for days without an answer.
Yes, of course. What can be going on in that submarine? Joan. Oh, if Joan's all right, I won't mind so much.
Hello, Jerry. J12C to J24Y. Go ahead, J24Y. Go ahead.
I have a message for you, J12C, from Captain Bradford. We are safe on the island at position as given you before. Our transmitter has been out of order. Could not talk to you, but have heard all your messages. Yacht is completely wrecked. cannot leave island. You must come to rescue. Island position, latitude 29 degrees south, longitude 124 degrees 30 minutes west. Hurry to the island. All standing it fine, except Bosun. He seems nervous. We'll be glad to see you. Come at once.
Okay, J24Y. Okay, Jerry Hall. Coming at once. My position now is 25 degrees south, 124 west. Should raise you in less than 6 hours. 73s to all on board. Johnson.
Oh, Tex. Jerry is bringing Johnson right into all this.
I know it, Pat, but there isn't anything else you can do. I can imagine every move they're making on board that submarine. Jerry's sitting there with one of those ray guns in his back while he sends the messages G47 or one of his assistants directs.
But the pigeon with the message to Johnson. Tex, it will get to Johnson's boat just too late to do any good.
That's the part of it that's going to come out all right. I don't know just how, but it will.
How can you say that? You know the pigeon will get to Johnson's boat only an hour or two before he meets the submarine. And Johnson doesn't even know the pigeon is... Why, Tex. Jerry's message.
Right, Pat. Jerry said the bosun was nervous. That's enough for Johnson. He'll know the bosun's flying out there somewhere with a message for him. He'll know there was something wrong with the message Jerry sent.
I wonder if Joan is all right on that submarine.
Joan's all right as long as Jerry is. He'll take care of her.
But how much could either of them do against the power of G47 if he wanted to do something to them?
Not much, of course. The G47 won't do anything to one of us until he gets his hands on my formula. We're safe until then.
He'll have the formula as soon as he gets Johnson's boat and the message off the pigeon.
No, he won't.
What? You didn't send the formula with Bosun?
No, but I did send the number of the safety deposit box where the formula may be found in Los Angeles. Only Johnson would understand what that number meant. So even if Johnson is captured, they still haven't the formula.
Then Johnson will simply be another prisoner on this island. And all of his crew and our other boat will be tied up here. We're only getting in deeper and deeper, Tex.
Yes, but we'll have quite an organization on this island then. It won't be so one-sided, and a lot of things can happen.
Tex, listen. Something's happened.
I'll see. Pat, get out of here quick. Run for that ramp up the side of the lock.
What's happened, Tex?
The lock gate's breaking. The ocean's coming in here, and we're 50 feet below the water level. Hurry, Pat. Come on, run. Go ahead, run.
Jerry and Joan are in a Euclidean submarine on their way to aid in the capture of Johnson and the Gregory rescue boat. Captain Bradford and Mrs. Gregory have been left on the captive yacht inside of one of the submarine locks on the Magic Island. They have just heard a radio message from Jerry to Johnson, advising Johnson to bring his boat to the island at once. Knowing this means Johnson's immediate capture, Mrs. Gregory and the captain are sure Jerry is being compelled to send the message by someone aboard the submarine. Just as the captain and Mrs. Gregory start to do something about it, they hear a rush of water. Captain Bradford runs out on the yacht deck and sees water pouring into the lock.
Hurry up, Pat. Get out here quick. We've got to leave this boat.
What's the matter, Tex? That water rushing. Is it... The lock gate's broken.
Yeah, our only chance is to find in this yacht and run up that ramp to the inside chambers of the island.
Oh, but this boat will be ruined and all our equipment's on board.
Can't help it, dear. Come on. This place will be flooded in a few minutes. The rate that water's coming in.
But I don't see how it happened. That gate doesn't look...
Never mind how the gate looks, Pat. Come on. We've got to get out of here.
All right, Tex. We have to walk on this narrow little rock ledge here.
We do, and be glad to get it. Come on.
This noiseless paint on everything. I'm getting as bad as Jerry. I could only hear some noise when I walk.
Yes, well, at least Jerry and Joan are better off than we are now. They're underwater, but they're in a boat that was made to be there.
Right here, Tex, was where the door opened when G47 came through it.
It won't be so simple for us to open one. No, I think it was further back up this ramp.
No, Tex, I was watching as he went back out the door. And that light, that bracket on the wall, was on the other side of him.
Well, hold on, then. You mean that as you looked up here from the deck of the yacht, G47 was between you and this light?
Yes, I'm sure of it. He made such a weird figure as he stood silhouetted against that light.
And the door is near here somewhere. It better not be too long finding it. The rate the water's rising.
We can try pushing on this wall. Right here, I think.
No good. Things on this island don't work automatically. They don't work at all. We've got to figure how to get out of here pretty fast, or that water...
Tex, the water isn't rising anymore.
Huh? What? Not rising?
No, it's merely still now.
But it couldn't have stopped. We're 50 feet below the water level now, with the whole island submerged.
What could stop the water after the lock gate broke?
I don't know, but you can see for yourself. The roofs of the cabins haven't touched the top of the lock yet, and they were only a few feet below it to start with.
Right, Pat. Only about 2 or 3 feet of water came into the lock when the gate broke, and that's funny. I wonder.
What, Tex?
That's it. The island is rising again. That lock gate must be up to the water level now. Come on, let's go back down on the deck where we can take a look at it.
But why isn't the light showing through the broken gate if we're above water?
Because it's a couple of hours yet until daylight. Come on, we'll go back down and have a look at that gate.
All right. Like Jerry, I'm glad to hear our shoes make some noise.
Sounds like home, all right. Now, come on up the stern, Pat.
Captain.
There's the skipper, Tex. I thought he and the engineer had been taken to one of the cells on the island.
Well, he's here now. He didn't try to get out of this thing like we did. Something funny here.
Yes, Skipper? What is it?
Gate.
We saw the gate breaking.
No.
But we did, Skipper. The gate broke and the water rushed in.
No.
That gate didn't break?
No.
Well, what happened then?
Opened.
The gate opened?
So, it wasn't an accident then. Our dear friend G47 must have decided we'd been around here long enough.
Not that, Tex. If someone had tried to drown us, the water wouldn't have stopped as it did.
How about it, Skipper? You seem to have kept your head and found out a few things. What stopped the water?
Gate.
The gate was closed again?
But there must be some idea back of all this. These Euclideans are too busy now with a fleet of battleships playing around overhead and Jerry and Joan out in one of their submarines. No, it doesn't make sense for them to stop and fool with these lock gates.
Come.
Skipper's got something to show us.
When we sign him on for the next cruise, it's going to be in his articles that he add a few more words to his vocabulary. Guessing what he means is getting on my nerves.
Oh, steady, Pat, now. Skipper's all right. Maybe he doesn't talk much because he hears the rest of us talk too much.
Look.
Tex, the skipper's right. The gate hasn't been broken at all.
That's plain enough, but why was the water turned in here?
Look.
Where?
There.
Down in the water?
I can't see much. Dark down there. Got a flashlight, Skipper?
Here.
Thanks. Now, then we'll have a look.
Well, I can't see anything down there.
There.
Oh, Tex, I see it. It's a fish, a big one.
Silver-colored. Peculiar shape, isn't it? Biggest fish shaped like that I ever saw. What is it, Skipper?
Torpedo.
What?
Torpedo.
Torpedo, eh?
Aye.
Then we're on the wrong boat. That thing's going to go off when it jars against this yacht.
Dud.
You mean the torpedo is dead? It won't go off?
Aye.
I'm beginning to see this thing now. Skipper, did you see that torpedo come in here?
Aye.
Was it an accident?
Nope.
But how could a torpedo be brought in here?
Magnetism.
Oh, then the Euclideans knew just what was going on.
Of course. I don't know why, but I can guess who. G47.
Precisely.
Oh, you startled me, coming out of the wall like that.
So you tried a little experiment on us, eh?
You were not considered.
I'll say we weren't. We might have been drowned.
That would have been no loss to me. But your destruction has no value in this plan. I merely wanted this torpedo, a stray shot from the fleet overhead.
You used your magnets to pull this torpedo in here after it was shot in target practice?
Precisely. I wanted to examine this type of projectile. I will send my assistants for it. You may follow me if you care to see what is happening in the submarine.
Tex, we can go and see what Jerry and Joan are doing.
Yeah, we'll take him up on that. See you later, Skipper.
Aye.
Why, there's a door in this wall within arm's length.
Now, here, step over the rail carefully, Pat. You'd better hurry and not get too far behind old G47.
I don't like to just sit here and do nothing while that girl commander does as she pleases with the submarine.
It will do you no good to attempt interference, Jerry. We are comparatively safe only so long as you restrain yourself from well-intentioned, though ridiculous and quite obvious approaches to the subject of possible intervention in this Euclidean plan.
Hey, quit talking like that. I got enough of a headache now without any big words. We got to figure what to do when we get under Johnson's boat with this submarine.
I can use little words as well as you, Jerry. You are a fool.
I'm a which?
There is no shorter word for that.
You're a fool.
Hey, how come?
You know that every word you say is being heard by the commander up there in the central control section. Why do you persist in talking?
Oh, because this gets my goat. Now, skip it. I know it's slang, but when I'm excited, I have to think in slang to get anything done. All this mysterious stuff. Here we are in a submarine 100 feet long with a crew of one man and a beautiful girl in command.
So you do think she's beautiful, do you?
Well, I've got good eyes. Even if she is a Euclidean, she's a peach.
A peach? Jerry, she is not a peach.
Enough of this ridiculous discussion. Silence, both of you. I wish the communication channels clear.
I'm sorry, Commander. Okay.
Now, Jerry, you must sit quietly and say nothing more until given permission. I warned you that our conversation could be heard all over the boat.
And is all that really coming from a submarine G-47?
Precisely.
We could hear them as plainly as if they were in this room. If they weren't deliberately using a microphone.
On Euclidia, we have ways of hearing anything we wish to hear.
Yes, I believe it. Well, as long as that girl skipper won't let the kids talk, there's nothing of interest for us to hear. Let's go back to the yacht, Pat.
Yes, even though it's helpless in a lock under 50 feet of water, I feel more comfortable there than here.
Well, thanks for the show, G-47. Will you excuse us now?
No, I will not. Come here. I want you to observe something.
You mean look in that prism reflector on your desk?
Precisely.
What's the use, Tex? You were fooled once by that thing.
Yes, well, I might see something anyway. Let's have a look.
I will enlarge this image for you. You will be interested in seeing the interior of the submarine from which you just heard. Look. Look.
Why, Tex, it's the inside of a submarine.
Don't get excited, Pat. We're 8 fathoms below the water level. So is the sub. And they're miles from here. Now, don't let it fool you.
But, Tex, look, Jerry and Joan inside the submarine. It's as clear as a photograph of them.
Yeah? Well, maybe this look is on a level. Yes, sir. Look. You can even see the expressions on their faces. Jerry doesn't look any too happy, does he?
You heard that woman commander tell him to be quiet. That's quite a punishment for Jerry.
Commander seems to be busy with the controls. Wonder what's going on.
Silence. The commander is about to communicate with me.
May we watch the image while you do your stuff?
You may, and you will notice the clarity of objects within the submarine, the perfection of the voice reception here. The television engineers in your world are hopelessly behind Euclidia.
Watch this, Pat. We're really seeing things now.
Commander S1 reporting to G47. 20 miles off Euclidia. Course due north. 25 knots. S1.
Your progress and course satisfactory, S1. Report on position of battleships near you.
Gee whiz. I heard G47.
Yes, Jerry, of course.
Did you get that, Pat? The kids are hearing G-47.
Hey, Joan. I heard Captain Bradford.
Yes, the captain must be in the communication chamber. And my mother also.
Yes, Joan. Mother can hear you, dear.
Oh, Jerry, did you hear my mother?
Commander, you will take steps to secure silence on board?
Correct, G47. I will have silence.
Look out, Joan. She's going to use a ray gun.
It will be useless to try to avoid it, Jerry.
Say, if she hurts those kids...
Oh, Tex.
Silence.
Tex, look at the reflector. Jerry has fallen to the floor of the submarine.
I can hear you, Mother. Do not fear for us. We will be...
Now, there's no reason for what she's doing to those kids.
Silence.
There is silence on my command now, G47. Will report on battle fleet. 12 major units are taking part in maneuvers. 4 heavy cruisers doing long-range fire.